Hi, it is Friday, just past 11 p.m. and I was gonna try and stay awake until 1 a.m. because that's when the 48-hour Bookoplathon starts in my time zone. But I'm exhausted, so I'm not doing that. Because staying up until 1 a.m. would also mean staying up till later than 1 a.m. to be able to like join the reading sprints, you know? I'm not doing that. I'm too tired to do that, and I would rather wake up early tomorrow and then join the reading sprints then and read a lot then, rather than reading a little bit now and then sleeping until like very late. So that's what we're doing. But I'm gonna give you my reading plans for the first 2 prompts, because even though my goal for this entire readathon is to read 4 books, which is a book per wool drop, I am hoping to get 2 books in for the first wool drop. And for the first prompt, we have to read a book under 300 pages. I was originally going to read Believe Me by Tara Murphy, but then Verity by Colleen Hoover just came in from my library app. And I checked, and it's like 250 something pages in my copy from the library. So I'm reading this instead because I really want to read this. And I've been more in kind of like that mystery thriller-y mood lately, so I think this is gonna go by very quickly, also because I know I read Colleen Hoover quickly, so I hope this is gonna happen well for me. And then for the Gods prompt, I have The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan, which is the first book in the Trials of Apollo series, which is like the 3rd series in the Percy Jackson world, I guess. And this actual story of it is 337 pages long, but it's middle grade, and it's recorded, which is again 2 elements that I know I'll read faster, and I'm just like very hyped to read this book. So yeah, those are my reading plans. Hi, it is 12:40, I believe. Yes, so like 20 minutes removed from the next wool drops, but I have finished Verity by Colleen Hoover. Yay me. I honestly expected this to go a bit quicker. I wasn't expecting to finish both books before this time, but I expected to have at least started Hidden Oracle at this time, but still talking Verity right now. This book is a romantic suspense novel following this woman who is a author, and she gets hired to kind of be a ghostwriter for this very popular author who recently was in an accident, but that's not public knowledge, like how bad it is with her. So they kind of hire her to write the books for this author, who's named Charity, hence the title. And our main character very quickly starts to become obsessed with Verity while also falling in love with her husband. And yeah, that's the plot for this book. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars because it was a very gripping read, and I did have a fun time reading this book. Fun might not be the right word considering the content matter of the book, but I really I flew through it. I had a fun time reading it. I really like how this was structured because you get a main character's perspective, but also you get this piece of writing that Verity wrote before her accident, and that's like put in between a couple of chapters, and I really liked both of those elements to the book. I thought that was really done, and just like how those 2 perspectives, I guess, were kind of balanced with each other and worked with each other. I really liked how that was done. So the main things I liked. I do think the plot was a bit predictable, but I still overall had fun with it, so I don't mind that much. But the characters are also very like one-dimensional to me. I couldn't tell you a whole lot about them. I don't think they went through a lot of development, so that's why I ultimately gave it a 3-star, because I think there's just like a fine book, but it doesn't really do anything special for me. But I'm glad I read it. I also just had lunch. I think I am gonna try and start the Hidden Oracle, and let's see how far I can get to it in like a couple more minutes, and then I'll probably talk to you again once we have the wool drops. I'm gonna finish this book first, definitely, but once we've had the wool drops, I'll probably come and talk to you what I'll be reading for response. So see ya later. So the second world job just happened. I have two new prompts. First one is to read an ebook or audiobook, and for that I'm reading the Southern's Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires, I believe that's the title. But I'll have a picture up here. It's by Gary Hendricks, and I started reading this like last week. I just haven't been reading this week, so I've been stuck, like I believe I'm like only 50 pages in for like a week, so I'll be very happy to finish this finally. Like I'm in the middle of so many books, I'm glad that I at least can use one of them for this prompt. And then for the second prompt, we need to read a book with a color in the title, and I looked over my shelves and I picked one that I'm very excited to read. That's Blackout by Diane Clayton, Stephanie D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. This is on the top of my TBR list. Like, this was one of my most anticipated books of last year. I didn't get around to it last year, so I put it in my top of the TBR list that I made at the beginning of the year. And I haven't been reading books on that list for the past 2 months, so I need one to read on that list, but also because I'm genuinely really excited to read it. This takes place during a heat wave, and we just experienced a couple of very hot days, so I feel like I'm in the right mood for this. And this is like under 200 pages, and it is short stories, so I feel like I'm going to absolutely fly through this book. Vlog update. It's currently 9:30 p.m. so it's been a while since I last talked to you, but around 5 p.m. I finished The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan, and I really enjoyed this. Gave this 4 out of 5 stars. This one is the third like book in kind of like this Percy Jackson world, and basically we follow Apollo, who has been turned into a mortal teenage kid by Zeus as a punishment for kind of the events of the Heroes of Olympus series. And there's more to it, but I just don't want to say anything more because of spoilers for the other 2 series. But I, like I said, really enjoyed this. Give this 4 stars. And I was a bit surprised by that because, I don't know, I have loved all of the Percy Jackson books so far, so it shouldn't have been a surprise. But I just feel like there was like this chunk in the middle I kind of was bogged down a little bit, and I felt a bit bored, and I was scared that the ending wouldn't be able to rescue that for me, but honestly it did. It was so good. I really like the beginning. I really love Apollo, his character. I really enjoy. I feel like he's a very different protagonist than the ones we have gotten before, and I really liked following him. We also got introduced to Meg, who is a new character in the series, who I also really enjoy. I'm excited to learn more about in future books, and get a lot of appearances by old favorites. I love it, my time with the old favorites. And yeah, and the plot was really fun. Like I said, towards the middle there was a little bit of a slog, but it was all right, and it did help pay off for the ending, which was amazing. It had a great twist towards there that I didn't see coming. It had me shook to the core, but I really enjoyed it. I really liked the way this ended, and it made me very hyped for the rest of the series, which I'll definitely be checking out from the library the next time I go. And then I've been reading on my iPad while hanging out downstairs with my mom. She got a new phone, so I spent a lot of time helping her set that up. So I didn't really read that much, but I am 150 something pages into the Southern Book Club Guide to Slaying Vampires. So I read about 100 pages of that, and I'm really enjoying it, but I am currently going to switch over to Blackout for some reading sprints and hopefully knock this one out. It is almost 9 p.m. So it's been like a full 24 hours since I last updated you. I am sorry, but today did not go the way I expected to. But first things first, last night I got like 86 pages. Wait, I can actually check this. I got 83 pages into Blackout by all these authors, and then I went to bed because I was super tired, so I needed my sleep. And then I woke up early this morning and I read and finished the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, which is officially the longest book title I've read so far this year because I just entered it in my spreadsheet and I had to extend my column. But I really enjoyed this one. This one is a adult horror novel about this group of women who are in a book club together, and some shady things are happening in that town and they are investigating it. And as you can tell by the title, it's vampires, or like a vampire, just one of them. And I give this 4 to 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I really like Grady Hendrix writing. I know like he is kind of like a hit or miss author for me, for most people, but the lowest I've given one of his books was a 3-star, which was My Best Friend's Exorcism, and I still thoroughly enjoyed that. So I really like his works. I haven't read all of them, but I've read like a bunch of them that are like more popular. And I just really like his writing, especially in this one. I feel like it set the tone for this group of women so well, and also just for this book in general. I really liked it. And then on top of that, I also just really liked how this book like kind of slowly revealed things to us, like left us in the dark for certain moments, and you're kind of wondering if these characters are just like imagining things, if it's real and stuff like that. I thought all of that was really interesting. I really liked the way this ended as well. I think this had a great payoff. The only things I kind of had a problem with is that I did feel like this was a little bit long, and I wish it was a bit shorter. I don't know. There was just like a part in the book where I kind of felt like it lulled a little, and I also just feel like the characters are pretty one-dimensional. So that's why I dropped a star, but I still really enjoyed it. Then I went to page 98 in Blackout, which is like 10 pages, and we had to leave for dinner. Well, not dinner, it was lunch. My grandma turned 70 last week, and we went on like a celebratory lunch, and that was supposed to last from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. and after that we went to my grandparents' house, which wasn't in the plans for as far as I knew. We just like showed up and I was like, okay, we're doing this, and we stayed there until like 7 p.m. and I haven't been reading since. So I am planning to use this evening for full reading experience, and I'm fulfilling all of the prompts, because for the ones that were dropped at midnight, which is to read a YA book, I'm picking Blackout, and then we have to read a spooky book, going with the Grady Hendrix book. I'm not gonna try and find the title again, because both of those books just work for the prompts really well, and I've already reading them, and I knew I was going to spend today reading them as well, so that was important. And then for the 12 p.m. prompts, I'm technically not going to complete these, but I will start my last novel, which will fulfill the last prompt. But we had the water prompt is to read something that has to do with water, and for that I'm reading Swim Team. I don't know the author, but pop up the cover right here. This is a middle grade graphic novel that I got a galley of to a galley. So I'm reading this because it has to do with swimming, obviously, which has to do with water, and I can fly through this pretty quickly. So I'm reading that. And then also for the Feed Squall prompt, the book I came across first was You Made a Fool Out of That With Your Beauty by Quicky and Mency, which is another book I got a gal of my galley, and I'm very excited to read, so I'm very excited this popped up. So I'll just be starting this before the readathon ends, because I doubt I'll make it till 1 a.m. for my time zone, like waking wise. So I doubt I'll be able to like finish it at all. But I do want to get a head start in it so that I can still say like I did something for all of the prompts. that it's just past 11 p.m. and I'm clocking in for the night. I'm too tired. So I didn't get to You Made a Fool Out of That with Your Beauty, but I did finish Blackout. I did finish Swim Team, but I'll do like a proper in-depth update about that tomorrow because I'm way too tired now. Hi, it is Monday morning and I'm very excited to finally wrap up this reading vlog. Well, finally, I just filmed the weekend because I didn't read during the week, and yeah, but I was very tired last night, so let's talk right now. Last night I ended up finishing firstly Swim Team by Johnny Christmas. This is a graphic novel I talked about. I don't know if I gave a synopsis. I don't think so, but it's about this girl who moves away, like moves to a different place with her father, and the only elective at her new school that they still have places left for her is Swim 101. And she is like terrified of the pool, but she still ends up taking it. And it's about her overcoming her fears and anxieties about this. And I give this 5 stars. I thought this was such a wonderful graphic novel. It's middle grade, but I generally think everyone should read this because it is so good. I really loved her main character. I really loved how her anxieties were like visualized throughout this novel. I thought that was very interestingly done. I liked the overall message of this story as well, and there is like a mix of Black history also in this. There's like little bits of Black history in it, and I thought it was mixed into like the main plot very well. I didn't feel like jarring or like a teaching moment. It genuinely felt part of the narrative, which I really appreciated. I also just really liked all of the different characters in this. I liked the sense of community and friendship that was really pushed to the forefront of this as well. And the relationship between the main character and her father was also very well developed, and I really liked it. And yeah, I'm very glad I read it because I don't think I would have read it now if it wasn't for the readathon. I probably would have pushed off reading this for a little bit more, but I'm very glad I did because I really loved it. And then lastly, I also finished Blackout by Diane Clayton, Daphne D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. A lot of authors, a mouthful. And this, I also didn't tell you about what this is about, but it's a collection of 6 romance stories, YA romance stories, doing a heat wave, and it's basically like this blackout in New York that's caused by the heat wave, and it's all of them kind of like finding love. And yeah, I really like this. I give it 2 to 5 stars though because I feel like none of the characters were really standouts to me. I just feel like all of them are fine, and like I didn't really strongly feel positively or negatively towards them. But I do think it's like a well-crafted collection of stories because every story stands so well on its own and could be published as like individual novellas perfectly, but also at the same time they are connected together really well and really strongly, and I really enjoyed seeing like the different connections between all of the stories. And yeah, I will definitely also be reading the other collection these authors are bringing out, which is like winter themed. And that brings me to 5 books read for Becca's Bookoplathon, which is amazing. Like I honestly did not expect this. Like I said, I planned to read 4 books, but even that was kind of like a reach for me a little bit. So the fact that I managed to read 5 books is absolutely amazing to me, especially because they weren't like all short books. Like they had an Oracle and a Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, so like pretty lengthy books for a 48-hour readathon. So I'm very excited to have all of that finished. And yeah, I promise next week I'll film the whole week. I won't just do the weekends. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good. Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated?